Hey everybody, Caleb Arthur, CEO and founder of Sun Solar here today. So spent beginning of this week and last weekend in Washington, D.C. For the presidential swearing-in ceremony. Also was able to have some meetings with different members of Congress. Obviously, my reasoning for being out there is to make sure that the solar industry is not only supported but also protected to some degree. So, I don't think it's any secret that Trump signed some executive orders to put a stop on different parts of the Inflation Reduction Act and those provisions. But the solar tax credit, that 30% solar tax credit that's been in place for decades now, that's something that's passed in the budget by Congress. That's not something that can be, have an executive order replace. And so part of me being out there was having meetings about what's the new federal budget look like. How is it going to affect solar tax credits? All the conversations I'm having are very good about supporting the solar tax credits. Most people don't know this, but over 70% of the money just from the Inflation Reduction Act that has been earmarked is being earmarked into red states, Republican controlled type states. And so what's going to happen is as some of these other incentives outside the tax credit are attempted to be put on hold, you're going to start seeing a lot of the industry and a lot of stakeholders, cities, counties, states, lawmakers coming out and saying, look, these are going to cost the industry a lot of jobs. This is going to be an economic hit to our area. We already had out of control inflation. We have high interest rates. Like, the last thing we need to do is, pull the rug out from under people too fast. But on the other hand, how do you balance the budget? How do you get debt under control? Things like that, right? So all those things are on the table when you're having these talk with lawmakers. The biggest thing that the public can do, though, is reach out to your local your U.S. representative and your U.S. senator. So those would be your Congress people that you would want to reach out to. Like if you're in Missouri, it'd be like U.S. Senator Josh Hawley or Senator Eric Schmidt, right? So that would be on the Senate side. And then we have multiple congressional districts. Here around Springfield is Congressman Eric Burleson. So the more you reach out and ask them to support you. But here's the overarching thing, right? Let's say that they do change the budget and that the solar tax credit's going to go away. When they set these things up, they have to have sunset clauses in there. For example, like they could say this year's 30%, next year's 26%, right? We've had those in the past. A few years ago, we actually did start to step down that solar tax credit, and then the Inflation Reduction Act put it back up to 30%. So anybody that's out there that's concerned about your solar tax credits or going solar, the answer is to sign up now, because if the credits do go away, it's going to be a first come, first serve. And if you wait till the end of the year to sign up, you might not get placed in service, quote unquote, installed before the end of the year. So it's very critical that if this is something you've been thinking about and you've been sitting on the fence, wondering, does solar save money for me? Get that proposal, take a hard look at it. Make sure the company that you are going to invest in has a strong reputation. We've actually went as far to have our CPA that we've been using, probably for the last decade, publish a letter talking about the financial stability of our company, just because there's been so many solar companies going out of business. And, that's a whole nother topic of why they're going out of business. Are they running the company wrong? Do they have cash flow issues? Are they creating too many customer complaints, too many service calls, too many lawsuits, et cetera, right? But the main thing you want to pick is you want to pick a locally owned company that has a ownership and leadership team in place that will respond to your needs and support you in that long-term plan of having that solar on your home or business for the next 25, 30 plus years. One of the biggest things, though, is like getting your system installed before any of the tax credits would go down. Nothing's been passed, nothing's happened yet on the 30% federal tax credit, but it's one of those things you never know who comes into power at a state or federal level would change what incentives, right? Like in Missouri, they could roll back net metering like they did in Arkansas, and you're usually grandfathered in if you already have a system placed in service, right? So usually if you wait to go solar, the incentives don't get larger, they get smaller. And that's just because as more people adopt to the technology, it doesn't need to be like what most people quote unquote call subsidized, right, or supported, because it becomes more of a mainstream energy technology, energy technology. So like last year, for example, solar and wind was able to produce more power than coal for the first time ever in the United States history. So you start seeing things like that and you go, wow, solar and wind are really taking off, aren't they? So residential, though, in Missouri, you need that 30% federal tax credit. And it's not a payment that the government's going to make to you, right? It's to offset taxes that you already owe to the government, or unless you pick a plan where Sun Solar owns the equipment for you, right? So never been a bigger time and a better time to go solar, especially if you're worried about what's going to happen with the solar tax credit or the solar industry, right? So get that system placed in service, get it on, get it running, start saving on your utility bills, because if you haven't noticed, your utility bills are increasing. Ameren just announced like a 17 or 18% rate increase, and guess what? They're going to get it, right? We've had a lot of people saying, hey, listen, President Trump is talking about getting our cost of electricity and energy down, and it didn't go down under him last time. It could possibly go down under him this time. The problem is that the president's in office for 4 years. It's very hard to move the needle on projects that are being built out, right? Utilities are saying they're building out solar and wind no matter what the federal government is operating at, and that's because utilities realize that they have to replace their outdated coal plants with renewable energy and battery storage, right? And so you're either going to pay a premium to have your utility company provide you renewable energy, or you can invest in it in yourself along with our help, right? So just think about that, and think about what the consequences are for you and your future family if you end up with $1,000 electric bill 20 years from now, right? Like, that's, if you don't already have that, that's the way you're headed, right? If you 20 years ago it would have been $50 a month. Now it's $400 a month, and then it's gonna go to $1,000 a month down the road, right? And your paycheck probably isn't making up for that, right? So wherever you can cut costs, being able to grow your own food, make your own energy, all those things are going to be critical to the survival of the middle class. So thank you, everybody. If you have more questions or concerns, please reach out. We do have experts on staff that can help you. We're positioned very well. We are expecting, from everything we see, a 20 to 30% growth for our company in 2025. We're very excited for all of our customers. The world is not falling in on solar. It's just one of those things that there's going to be some policy changes, and I'm going to be right there in the mix at the state and federal level to make sure that our customers and the industry are supported. So thank you much. Have a good day. Bye.